Hey, what's up everybody? It's Jack. Welcome back. And in this video, I basically wanted to discuss a subject that is very widely popular in first-person shooter games. Um, I'd probably say it's a heck of a lot more popular in Call of Duty than it is in this game, since this game is a lot more competitive and the game punishes you severely for rage quitting, and that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. Is rage quitting or rage quitters and kind of my take on it and my philosophy and kind of like my history with it. Um, and the thing is, and the gameplay you're about to see is basically uh, one person on my team ends up quitting, and I was like, oh crap, we're already at a disadvantage. Chances are we're going to lose miserably, and it's going to be rough. And but I look at the score and I see that we are doing pretty well and we are in the lead. And then as time goes on, players end up rage quitting on these guys on the other team, and the next thing you know, there's all about like one person left by the end of the match, and the other two guys on my team ended up sticking it out with me, obviously. So I only had one rage quitter, and then the poor guy that was left on the other team was not as fortunate, to say the least. But I figured it was a good time, especially since this gameplay is the gameplay that I got, and the fact that it actually does happen in this game quite a lot is something that I thought I should talk about, because it does happen even in a game like this that punishes you, pretty severely for rage quitting. And my history, when I was first starting out with video games, now in Halo, it didn't happen all that often when I first started playing it, like 10 plus years ago. It's just part of the reason is because I was always playing with friends pretty much. When Xbox Live first came out in 2004, when Halo 2 was the big thing, I was just playing with friends whenever they were on constantly. I would play by myself as well, but whenever my friends were on, we'd always play together. The whole online thing for me and multiplayer games was like so different back then. Super casual, but like I put in a ridiculous amount of hours because it was so much fun. But rage quitting really wasn't that much of an issue for the most part, at least that I could remember. Because if it was back then, I'm sure I would have remembered. But as time went on, and as I kind of made a transition playing different kind of first-person shooter games, especially Call of Duty, I started noticing that rage quitting happens quite a lot. And as a matter of fact, in the beginning, when I was first playing COD, when I was first starting to play COD, when I was taking it seriously back in late Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, there would be times where I would actually rage quit in frustration. It was just really frustrating, dying really fast, and time after time again, not knowing how it happened or where I got shot from, or and I never watched the kill cams because I was always too angry and too impatient to watch the kill cams. I'm sure some of you can relate, but it was very frustrating, and I was before I started getting good at the game, which took a while for me. It was really frustrating, and I was doing it quite often as far as rage quitting is concerned. So, and as time went on, and as I got better and better at games in general, I just stopped rage quitting, because I came to realize after so much playing and so much experience with the games and knowing how they work and all that, and as I became a little less casual. I mean, I'm casual because I don't play competitively, but sometimes I'll put a ridiculous amount of hours and sometimes I won't. You know how it is. But when it comes to it, I'm a casual player at heart. Even though I tend to do well a lot of the times, and it's more important to me to do well, but not like so ridiculously important that I'm gonna go crazy if I don't. And I still rage at games when a lot of bullshit happens, but I don't rage quit anymore. I rarely rage quit, and the reason behind all this is because with time I began to realize that when you rage quit, not only are you giving the enemy the victory pretty much in a dishonorable way and a shameful way, so to speak, you also don't get anything out of it. Now, when you don't rage quit against all odds, there's a few things that actually happen, and I'm going to explain what those are. Number one, what ends up happening is you are playing against pretty much all odds. and it's a lot harder to get the victory. Now, if you do get that victory when everybody else on your team quit and the other team didn't, and if you end up getting it, it is one of the most satisfying feelings in the world when that happens. I mean, you are just immensely satisfied. You are really happy with yourself, and you're just like, wow. and and another reason why people shouldn't rage quit at all is not just because of the chance that you still have a chance to win, even though it's against all odds, and even though those chances are slim. It's also the fact that because you're playing against all odds, it's going to make you a better player in the long run. And let's face it, rage quitting doesn't, although it happens often, it doesn't happen like every single game, not. And the thing is, when you're left alone when it does happen, and you're the one that doesn't rage quit, and you're one of the few, or maybe even the only one that doesn't, what ends up happening is, first of all, you're displaying something about yourself, and that is that, number one, I'm not a quitter, and against all odds, I'm still going to go out guns a-blazing, so to speak. I'm going to go out with a fight. I'm not going to let anybody, put me down mentally or anything like that. You kind of show mental toughness and durability when you do that. And you make yourself a better player, because when you play against harder odds, it is going to make you better. And after doing it time and time and time again, it really does improve you. And then the next thing you know, after a lot of experience with this, when you go into normal games, it just makes it seem that much easier, because you just went through something a lot harder. And you kind of, the way I look at it is, when people rage quit on your team, you can look at it as an opportunity to get better faster. It's kind of like a boost, so to speak, to get better. Is it frustrating? Yes. Is it something that will make you rage but not necessarily quit? Sure, if you can stick it out and not, you can rage, but rage quitting you shouldn't do. You should try your best not to do it, because you can always view it as an opportunity. You can see something negative and get something good out of it. So it's something that you can take advantage of. And no matter what first-person shooter you play, there's always going to be rage quitters. There's not really much you can do about it, whether it's a game like this where it's really competitive and they punish you greatly for rage quitting, or whether it's something more casual and there's pretty much almost no penalty or a very light penalty for rage quitting often. The thing is, you just shouldn't do it, because you're only denying yourself the opportunity to get better, and you're only making yourself seem worse. Even when there's nothing you can do, you should at least try. It's the same kind of philosophy applies in life. There's going to be times in life where you're pretty much going to be against all odds, and no matter how much you try, sometimes things just don't go your way. But that doesn't necessarily you should quit, or that you should roll up in a ball and just be depressed the entire time or whatnot. Because things can't be bad all the time. They can be bad a lot of the times, they can be bad some of the times, but the thing is, things can't be bad all the time. And in life, you got your mixed bag of cookies, or mixed bag of nuts, so to speak. You're gonna get a little bit of everything. Things are not always going to go smoothly, and how you handle that is basically what defines you as a person a lot of times. And as a human being, you're not perfect. You're not going to always going to handle the hardest situations very, very well. But that's okay, though, because we're not perfect, and we constantly go through trial and error phases in our lives, and sometimes we're just weaker than at other times. So the best way to look at it is just try to use your head a lot of times, and just try to in the middle of all that rage, or in the middle of all the crap that's happening, somehow you just gotta think. You gotta find a way to think, because the brain is the most powerful gift that a human being has, and when used to its fullest potential, or to its maximum potential, even against all odds, good things can happen. And the thing is, you want to give yourself the opportunity to make those good things happen, even if they don't happen. At the very end, you can basically say, hey, you know what, I didn't quit, and this happened. I still had my head held high, and I went down with a fight. And that's basically how you wanted to do. I mean, just like the 300 Spartans story. They went into that battle against 300 guys went into that battle against thousands and thousands of Persians. They knew that they were not going to survive, but at the same time, the way they also had the mentality of, hey, maybe we could. So although logic basically told them they wouldn't, and they would make the ultimate sacrifice, they still went in there they still went in there guns a-blazing, so to speak. They didn't go down with a fight. They were very, very confident, and they also did something. They performed very, very well. Let's put it that way. So just a little example right there. But you know, rage quitting just never ends up being a good thing, so to speak. So I know that there's people out there that really don't care, and they don't apply life's philosophy to something like a video game, and that's totally understandable because, you know, video games are video games. By the vast majority of the population, they're not really taking that seriously. But I just thought I'd give my 2 cents about it, and I thought I'd apply a little bit of philosophy into it because, you know, as kind of as life goes on, you kind of learn that philosophy really is philosophy really applies to like so much in life. So I just figured I'd give my 2 cents on it, and yeah, that's basically what I wanted to talk about in this one. And it was something that it was a perfect subject to talk about as well because it's something that we all can relate to. So when it comes to video games or when it comes to life, you know, sometimes we just feel like we want to give up after we fought for so long. And as human beings, it's very easy to give up a lot of times. You know, when things are down and you're down, but you're constantly getting beaten into the ground. It's something that we've all experienced at one time or another in our lives. But what we want to do is we want to basically, you know, increase our chances of not rage quitting, and that is just to keep our heads held high and to keep trying our best, even when the times are tough. So. And you know, to be honest, a good way to start with this is with video games because it's a lot easier. It's a fantasy world. It's an escape, and then who knows? Maybe slowly but surely we can start applying that into life for those of us that have a hard time with that, especially. And at one point or another, all of us do. You know, nobody's perfect. So anyway, guys, I'm running out of time here, so the gameplay's over almost. So I hope you really enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed the commentary. And if you enjoyed the video, let me know. And if you did not enjoy the video, let me know what I can do to make my future videos better. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya. Bye.